Terrance, what this promotion title mean for you?
So, and for me, it's awesome. It's a privilege to be in this position. Um, it means that my career is going in the right direction in terms of progressing. Gives me the opportunity to be challenged a little more, and it's just a great opportunity.
What are your added responsibilities, if any, moving forward with this title?
Yeah. With this specific title, responsibilities, really, for me, it's really the same in terms of coaching the defensive line. It's my job to make sure that those guys are developed and put in position to have success on game day. And then in addition to that, just be in a position to support Coach Henry in the run defense and also in the pass defense as well. So everything that goes with that in terms of tackling, pursuing the ball, having force on the defense, being total ball disruptors in terms of pass defense. So everything that goes with stopping a run and defending the pass, I'll be in full support of Coach Henry and our entire defensive staff. So,
Coach, think back to when you were playing and to start in college. Did you ever picture yourself in this kind of position at your age?
No, I really didn't look at my career in terms of at a certain particular age I'd be a coordinator or head coach or whatnot. I really just tried to focus on the moment and trying to be the best, grow where I was planted and being the best position coach or student assistant, GA, at whatever point I was in my career, just trying to be the best at the position that I'm in.
You had this maybe all come together. Did Coach Beal spring it on you, or were there longer discussions? Just kind of what was the process?
So it wasn't anything that I expected. I know we had a good year, and I knew that we were having success on defense, and defensive line was doing some good things during the season. But when Coach B told me about it, I was extremely excited and grateful for the opportunity, and there was never any doubt that I would be accepting it. No, wasn't really expecting it, to answer your question, but thankful and grateful for the opportunity.
Coach, what's it mean for
Where were
you?
you?
When Coach told me, when did he tell me? He told me in his office, and he told me I could tell my wife, and I didn't have any words really to say to respond to him. I just was excited and just smiled. So.
What's it mean for your program bringing back two guys like Keith Randolph and Johnny Newton to anchor the D-line?
Yeah, for those two guys specifically to come back is exciting. It's especially in the world today with players having opportunities to go to the NFL, taking those opportunities to go elsewhere. It means a lot for those guys to feel as though that they can trust us with their development and come back and continue to be a part of this program and this team, and really for all of our players, especially all the guys up front. For all those guys to come back and to start working towards the 2023 season, and so it's been great.
Spring ball's coming up. Do you have some list of guys you expect to compete at the nose tackle spot?
That's a good question. We do have the competition for us, especially for the positions up front, has been what's allowed us to have success. As long as we're competing and put in position for competition, our guys can play consistent and be productive when that time comes. We have guys, T.R. Edwards. We have R.J. Wilkins is going to have an opportunity this spring, and Denzel Jackson transferred over from Ohio. Put him in position to have success. So, and then from the bowl game, Seth McConnell was a guy that stepped into a important role for us and did some good things in that game as well. So Keith Randolph played some nose in the past. So, whatever can help our defense have success, we're definitely going to put guys in position this spring to compete.
How do you want to grow with this new position, with this new opportunity for you?
I think especially the way we operate on defense and the way Coach B leads our staff and our team and our coaches, you can't help but to grow in this environment. Just the way that we go about developing our players, the way that Coach B develops us as coaches, and the way we approach the off season. Right now, just focus on this 8-week program for our players, and it's a critical time. This 8-week. Normally, you'd have some coaches that may shorten this time frame to jump into spring ball and kind of get it out the way. But it's important for us to develop our guys for a full 8 weeks and get into a full 5 weeks of spring ball, and then come back to another full 8 weeks of summer conditioning. And so just that mindset and that plan as a head coach, and to kind of witness that and learn that and understand that as an assistant coach, I'm just telling you, this is the best place to be to develop as a young coach. And now that I'm in the position that I am, this is the third time that I've been promoted by Coach B. I was a player, and I see it as a promotion in terms of being a student assistant from a player. Went off to coach high school ball, and Coach B hired me again as a young quality control coach. So this is the third time. So I just know in this environment, working for Coach Bielema, I know it's going to put me in a position to grow, continue to grow.
What are the biggest things you've learned and the biggest growth points you've had then being with him for that long?
Yeah, the biggest things for me is our players. The focus needs to stay on our players and developing them. As long as the focus stays on our guys and putting them in the best position to have success, for me, that's helped me continue to have success in my career. When I'm helping my players have success on and off the field, especially off the field, it translates to success on the field. It eliminates distractions. And so, because I've worked in other places, and ultimately when we focus on our players and making them the best they can be, it helps us be the best we can be.
Terrance, how have you seen the recruiting attitude in your territory change since Coach B and yourself has gotten here, especially Cook County?
Yeah, so it's interesting when we go in those schools. Even the first year when we went in those schools, the feedback we continued, which was consistent, was the coaches were excited to see Illinois in their schools, and so we're just continuously. Coach Pat Ryan has done a tremendous job of reaching out to coaches throughout the state and other states as well. But as long as they continue to hear us and see us, that's helped us in terms of recruitment. Helps us with the players in our areas, specifically Cook County, and the type of players that we've been able to recruit and build trust with those players and their families to ultimately sign. It's definitely been helpful for us to have that focus of recruiting our state.
What do you like about Denzel? Why'd you guys want to go get him, and what do you think he can add to your group?
Yeah, Denzel, around 320 pounds. When we think back to that first year, Rod Perry was a nose tackle for us that was at 320 pounds, and we had a lot of success in terms of stopping the run and staying attached and squeezing centers. Denzel brings that same measurables in terms of height and weight and arm length. And when we watch his tape, what jumped out of the tape is just his stoutness, playing the run. Specifically, he played some nose tackle in a 3-4 scheme against Penn State, and then some of his clips really jumped out. So he definitely is going to add value to our front.
Coach, you get some continuity in the staff, obviously defensive staff, but you also have some change. How much different do you think it'll look in the fall?
Well, we definitely want to continue to build on what we've done. In terms of change, we'll just focus on the building on what we've done. I wouldn't say that there's going to be much change, but we're definitely just going to focus on developing our players and continuously helping them get better at what they've done and what they're going to do moving forward.
I haven't had a chance to ask you about the 3 guys you signed at your position, defensive line. What do all those guys bring to your room, and what do you like about that class?
Love that group. They add tremendous value. Mason Moragan from De La Salle, Warren De La Salle. He's a natural pass rusher, so he has the length in terms of measurables. He has the size of a Keith Randolph, but he has the pass rush value as a Johnny Newton. So he's going to definitely give us that extra element of length and also pass rush value. at that defensive end position. Alex Bray, who's a wrestler in high school, he's tough, plays a low pad level, keeps his motor running, his feet running on contact. Does a great job of playing with extension, knocking guys back, and like I mentioned, on contact, his feet continues to move, and so we love guys that play with a passion on the defensive line, and that jumps out in terms of their effort. So Alex Bray is tough. He's smart. He's dependable. He's just the guy we look for. Jeremiah Warren, just like I talked about in terms of that nose position, he's 280 pounds, 6'3", but he plays like a defensive end. So he has that size, he has that strength, but he has the athleticism to transition from power to speed. So when you look at those three players, all three of those guys are very talented, very skilled. They play multiple sports, but they bring different things to the table that we'll be able to take advantage of early.
You mentioned Brett's promoted you 3 times. You've also come back to him being out of high school and coming to join the staff. Why continue to put that trust in him, and how has it helped you get to where you are now, the relationship there?
That's a great question, Joey. So definitely, I want to be a part of a winning environment, an environment that wants to grow, that's not complacent, and that's what I see when I see Coach B, a head coach that knows how to win, wants to win, is never satisfied. Obviously we had a productive season, a good season, but we're looking at, all right, why do we lose 4 of the last 5 games? All right, and what can we do? What are the little things we can do to move forward? And so that's the type of environment I want to be in.
And hopefully this is one for you and not him. Will Aaron call the defense then? Is that how you guys have this set up?
Yeah, so Coach Henry is the leader of our defense. So Coach Henry is and that's just a simple answer for me. But so he'll definitely call the defense, and we'll be there to support him.
How can you two grow together through this opportunity for both of you?
Yeah, so together, it was really as a staff, as a defensive staff, we just continue to challenge each other, have conversations. We don't always agree on everything, but the thing is, we work well together. There's no egos, and so it's a easy room to work with and to develop our players with. So we have a good time on defense.
So you've been like here the last couple of months with Aaron in charge. Just anything new he's brought to that spot?
Just a lot of energy, a lot of passion. Yeah, he's on fire, man. He's on fire. So he did a tremendous job preparing for our bowl game, and just on the sideline, he was composed. He made the right calls at every time our guys were excited about the plan. The prep was amazing. It was awesome. It was a fun time, and we're just looking forward to what's ahead, starting this spring.
I guess with you, Aaron, kind of being promoted and having kind of at the top, how much easier does that make it maybe for?
Can you ask the question again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I guess with you and Aaron kind of being both promoted at the top after being around last year, how much does that help kind of bring on kind of the other coaches on the defensive staff and get them integrated?
So let me make sure I got your question right. Both of us being promoted. Can you ask it again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so with you and Aaron both being promoted kind of as coordinators at the top of the defense and having that continuity from last year, how much easier does that maybe make it for newer coaches on the defensive staff to integrate into what you guys are doing?
Yeah, so hiring 2 coaches, we're in the process of hiring 2 coaches. We look for guys who can teach, who can teach players. And we had a lot of good candidates in terms of guys that had great backgrounds, a lot of experience, and very, very knowledgeable. We wanted guys that had all of that, but also can teach a room and install. In terms of the new guys coming into the room, we all have gotten together, and we're going to continue to get together to make sure we're on the same page and develop a plan that's best for our players.
What's the impact of Johnny and Keith's big years, your guys' big year, when you go out on their trail and pitch to defensive line recruits?
Definitely helps, and reaching out to players all over the country and reaching out specifically to the really good defensive linemen To be able to talk about the history of Illinois, talk about the history of Illinois defensive linemen, and most recently the guys that are playing for us now, it definitely helps us get in the door and have conversations and allow us to get young men and families to come up and visit us. Definitely helps.
That was good.